Hello everybody, it's Valerie, Ling, clinical psychologist here, doing something a bit fancy and different today. Standing in front of a whiteboard. Hopefully this will work. Okay, so I don't know if anybody will join me. It's lunchtime, maybe. It's beautiful and sunny where I'm standing. Hopefully you're having some lovely sunshine and time to have some lunch for yourself. So today I would like to take you through a bit of an authentic stream because I found myself this week struggling to actually get the wheels back for myself, even though I've done everything that I know to do for my own burnout prevention, right? My 6 R's. If you don't know what my 6 R's are, you'll need to actually catch some of the other live videos that I have done on this in this particular page. Actually, you will find that there are the 6 R's there. There's also my little ebook, and I'll put a link to that. So I found myself actually, though I would do that quite regularly, this week actually really struggling to stay afloat. And for me, the signal that things are really not right is when my sleep starts to get impacted, right? So I've done lots of things to try to recalibrate that. I'm particularly sensitive to having my sleep disrupted, and if it's not caffeine or using screens, or I've tried everything and my sleep is still impacted, I start to actually wonder if I'm feeling the wear and tear. In particular, you know, I'm feeling the wear and tear when my dreams are starting to process the problems that I'm facing in my work day. Have you ever experienced that? Let me know in your comments if you're rewatching this, where you're actually finding that you're actually dreaming and working through problems. I know when I was in high school, sometimes that was actually quite a helpful thing because I'd get stuck on a maths problem, and in my dreams somehow be still working on the solution and actually come up with a method to do it. But not so much when you're in this season of life. And, you know, the problems that we face, really, when you think about it, are not always solvable or fixable straight away. Sometimes you actually have to wait and brew on it a little. But I remembered that what was actually happening in my dreams when I woke up, I could actually still remember, was that the problems that I was trying to problem solve weren't just little problems. They were actually big problems, very much to do with my vision and feeling frustrated. And then I got to starting to reflect on, okay, let's actually figure out what's going on here. Now, I just want to put a little note and say that for me, having a vision and purpose statement isn't just for someone who's in business, isn't just for someone who is working on a work project. I actually think having a vision and a mission and a purpose statement in different facets of your life is actually quite a helpful thing. You can have a vision, mission, purpose statement for your family. It doesn't have to be for the long term, it can be for the year. It helps you to actually figure out what your priorities are for the year, what sorts of values and behaviors you want to see for yourself and for yourself. Hey Kim, thanks for joining me. I'm just talking about how my vision got overcast and how I figured out what was going on. But I was also saying that for me, a vision just isn't about being in business. I don't know what you think about this, Kim, because you see kids and families. And I was saying that a vision, mission, purpose statement is a helpful thing to even have for yourself as an individual, not just your work. You know, you want to do things like your personal growth. If you're a particularly spiritual person, for your spiritual growth, for your physical health, and all of those goals come under a big vision and purpose statement for yourself, which can sometimes just be for 12 months. So even if you're not in the scenario where you have your own business or you're feeling a little bit burnt out from work, you're just feeling overwhelmed and being burnt out in your personal life, this could still apply to you. So the first thing is I would like to take you through my little thing on how I cast vision. It's not original, it's borrowed from all kinds of different sources. Some people make it more complicated than it is, but at the basic level, there are 3 circles. Now, because I really hadn't planned to be drawing in my live stream, I don't have good pens and sort of good material to do this, but good enough, people. Imperfect action, good enough. Kim is saying, yes, interesting to stop and look at your family values and vision. I agree, Kim. A couple of years ago, my family, we actually did a visual representation of it, and we even got people, each of us actually drew pictures, like a crest to actually represent our whole family, and then each member of the family actually did their own little symbol to actually indicate what their vision for themselves were. Anyways, I digress. Okay, 3 circles. Hopefully you can see this. Now, I am a firm believer in Android phones. However, Android phones do not allow me to flip my screen when I'm writing, and so therefore you will see things back to front. Ta-da! So instead, I'm just going to use symbols, okay? What do these 3 circles represent? Well, first of all, hey Jen, thanks for joining me. Lovely. I can't wait to be a part of your webinar on Saturday. I'll learn so much from you. Okay, these 3 circles represent this. Stick figure. Sort of who are the people in your vision, right? If it's your particular family, then maybe the people in the vision are each family members, right? If you don't have a family, you can also think in terms of yourself. This is the vision for you, right? You're in the center of that circle. Now, in the case of me, because I'm being authentic today and sharing with you what my issues were, my issues. The people on my mind are professionals who care for others. I can't stop thinking about them. I just can't stop thinking about them. And so they are definitely within my vision. They are the people who care for others. The next circle is the problem on your mind. What's the issue? What is the thing, the problem statement that the people in your heart or your mind face the most, right? What's the issue that you're actually dealing with? If you were dealing with your personal vision for yourself, maybe it be that your health or your blood sugar levels or your cholesterol levels for this particular year is a real problem or a real issue that you want to work on, right? If you cast it a bit bigger, if you have a personal growth vision for yourself, then maybe the issue out of there might be that you want to be able to say that you read this particular book or research this particular area. Now, in my case, very clearly, the problem on my mind is burnout. And I succinctly put that as, I would like to see a world without burnout. How can I get the people on my mind? How can I address the problem that they face? Any guesses what the 3rd circle might be, people? Those of you, Kim, Jen, what do you reckon that 3rd circle might be? While I'm waiting for your response, I am going to attempt to draw it as a symbol because I can't write it. I still don't see any comments. Okay, that is meant to represent a field, okay? What are you going to do about it? Yes, what are you going to do about it? It's how you're going to actually address the problem on your mind with the people on your heart, I usually say. It's the opportunities, right? The opportunities. The places that might, the action, the solution, that's right, what you're going to do about it. It's resources, it's opportunities, it's the way forward, yeah, it's the environment, it's all of those things. And it'll be quite specific to your vision casting exercise. Now, in my case, the opportunities that arise will be, for example, the fact that I work a lot with people who are who work as humanitarian workers and who work in clergy, and also we have doctors and healthcare providers in our diary. And so the opportunities is, on the one hand, doing my individual work, but also on the other hand, trying to create a wider reach for people, right? So what are the opportunities? It boils down to even the little things, the practical things, I should say. Things like, do you have the finances? Do you have the resources? Do you have the place? Do you have the time? Has there been made available a space for the solutions and the actions to actually happen? So what I was actually finding was that I was actually figuring out that when I was starting to feel like I was drowning and none of my behavioral or routine sorts of things were addressing a feeling of burnout and fatigue, it occurred to me that I actually needed to look at my vision. How clear was I on my vision? I'm going to stand in front of my whiteboard now for a minute and say, because guys, it's really, really important that when you are burning out, you actually head for the opposite. Can you guess what the opposite of burnout might be? Those of you who are watching, what is the opposite of burnout? Jen says, so sad I've missed the start, but can already tell I need this right now. No worries, Jen. You can always rewatch it on the record. It's going to be a long one, I think, today. It's going to go for a little bit. What is the opposite of burnout? It's flame on. Basically, right? It's flame on. So meaning that, yes, follow your passion, says Jen. Absolutely. Because the three elements of burnout is you get a sense of exhaustion, a sense of withdrawal and depersonalization. And the third thing is a lack of a sense of achievement and accomplishment. So really the opposite of burnout and the direction you want to head is flame on. You actually want to increase and engage in meaningful activities that are very clearly linked to your vision. So what can happen though is, and this is where I draw on temperament theory. Those of you who are watching who are psychologists, even if you're skeptical about the psychometrics that measure temperament theory, it is a pretty, it is a foundational part of our profession to understand personality and type and temperament theory. And in temperament theory, basically there's this idea that the more stress increases, the more we are actually going to become kind of tunnel vision in our personality, right? When you are moderately stressed, your instinct is actually to try to figure out how to come to a balance in this area. And so more than likely, you're going to use the strengths in your personality, especially if they're the sorts of issues that you've regularly faced and you've got rich data to say that, okay, when I felt this way, I did this, right? And so you're going to go to your default. However, if that stress increases, there is a likelihood that you start to really tunnel into your strengths. So the image is that of being in a car and your strengths and your primary personality drivers is the one driving, but you're also recognizing some of your other personality factors as being the co-pilot and the passengers, right? So if I'm highly extroverted, I might actually have as my co-passenger my introversion, for example. And that when I'm not stressed, though I'm driving, I'm still attending, I'm still referencing, right? That's where that reflective space comes from. I'm still actually referencing and listening to see, okay, before I jump into an extroverted, action-based way to deal with this, let me just check in with the other aspects, right? But the more we get stressed, the more we tunnel in to just that one way of doing things. And if we stay in that mode, and if the stress increases, our confidence in actually being the driver reduces. Why? Because we're tunnel vision. We're not referencing other sources. We're not checking in with the other bits of our personality. We're not checking in with the other ways that the vision has come to exist. We're just going one direction. And when that happens, we tend to flip into what's called the inferior functions, or the inferior places and spaces of our personality, the less practiced areas. Okay, so with what I was experiencing, I was tunneling here. So fixated on the problems. I wasn't getting anywhere. Can't see a solution. Problems seem to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Why? because I'm no longer really interacting with the people on my heart. I'm not really referencing or interacting with them because I'm tunneling. And I'm no longer engaging in the ways that I actually came up with this vision. And in my case, my personality goes with creativity, right? So I need to actually be out in open spaces, having lots of ideas, not just about burnout, but lots of other things. Play my music, I crochet, I hate to tell this, but I do. I love shopping at IKEA, places like that. Basically, it's my playful space that shrinks down the problem and puts the other things into perspective because I'm drawing from my intuition. Now, for other people, that may not be the way that they work. Maybe they need to actually spend time by themselves. Maybe they actually need to look at research a little bit closer. Or maybe they need to get some facts and details, or look at some plans, or look at some alternate plans, or interact with people who actually give them that sort of practical, concrete information. Crocheting's great, says Kim. Yes, I'm currently doing a big poncho for myself, but true to my personality, I'm not following any instructions. I'm just kind of looking at it and thinking that it'll work. But that's a very good example, Kim, of how I crochet. I don't crochet from a pattern. And if I forced myself to do it, really, I would actually be miserable at it. So what's happening then is that I'm tunneling into just the problems and I'm actually losing my overall vision. And as I'm tunneling, I'm actually catastrophizing. I'm obsessing. I'm overanalyzing. I'm doubting. Because all I can see is the problem, right? So what did I do to rectify that? Because this is an authentic stream, I'll share with you, and that might prompt some ideas for yourself, and I'm really happy for you to share with me what those are. The first thing I did was look at my field, my playing field, right? And I actually did go to IKEA because I just wanted to be in a space where other people had some really good ideas. And you know, I walked around IKEA 2 or 3 times because I also get very lost with my podcasts on. And all I was listening to were great ideas, great ideas. I started to interact again with people who inspire me. Today, with a group of people, I made myself, I actually asked them, please help me, give me some input, tell me what you see, right? Tell me what you see of the journey, tell me what you see of the picture, because right now, all I can see this. Can you give me, tell me? And some really good questions. Jen, you were part of that group, and Jen actually said to me, what does your gut say? What does your instinct say? And in that instance, oh, phone call. Sorry, you lost me because someone was trying to call me. I don't think IKEA is necessarily an anti-burnout place, but the first thing that popped to my mind when I wanted to be surrounded by great ideas was, well, I'll go to IKEA, right? I was also hungry, so I went to have some breakfast there. Yes, and then linking in with the people that could really encourage me and to help me to refocus, I suppose, on the people, not just the problem. Which then freed me up, I suppose, to then start thinking again, all right, don't just think about the problem, think about the whole vision. This is a long-term strategy. So I'm going to stand in front here again. And don't you feel like that sometimes too, if you're a parent? I feel like this very, very often when you start to lose the whole vision of your child, for example, and all you could see is the annoying behavior right in front of you, or the hurtful behavior in front of you, or the fact that you can't seem to fix or solve the problem for the child, right? All you can see is that problem. But if we actually lift our vision and actually look at them in totality and see the journey that they've come from and forecast and see all the aspiring things that you want them to discover, not just in that problem space, but that whole development of them, you actually start to feel a sense that your vision's been pulled up again and you can play the long game with your child and see the adult, the beautiful adult that they're heading towards, right? So I just wanted to share that with you, a little bit of vision. I call it was a vision overcast, because I was tunneling down and only seeing the problem and needed to pull back up into working really in my strengths and recognizing that it was my strengths that cast my vision. And so it's back to my strengths that I have to go to recast that vision and feel like I've got meaning again. It's not burnout, it's flame on. All right, I shall leave you there and hope that you will have a lovely rest of the day. See you, Jen. See you, Kim.